Hi there, everybody, and welcome to the Daily News here on the 5th of September. All your Newcastle United news right here on the Toon Review. My name's Paul, and before we get going, if you do enjoy today's stream, please do hit the thumbs up button. It is vitally important that we stay in with the likes on YouTube for the algorithm, so people like yourselves can find and hopefully subscribe to the channel. If you are new and you have just discovered us, please do hit the subscribe button, completely free to do so, and of course that notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload any future videos. Now, as I say, Eddie has announced his Champions League squad, and we have had to name a 23-man squad because of the home-trained player situation. We have had to take a little drop in the squad available. Normally it's 25. We can only name a 23-man squad. Now, there is some names left out of this squad, probably names that you would really expect. The full squad is as follows: Miguel Almiron, Harvey Barnes, Sven Botman, Dan Burn, Dubravka, Paul Dummett, Anthony Gordon, Bruno Gomes, Lewis Hall, Alexander Isak, Joe Linton, Loris Karius, Jamal Lascelles, Tino Livramento, Sean Longstaff, Jacob Murphy, Nick Pope, Fabian Schär, Matt Targett, Sandro Tonali, Kieran Trippier, Joe Willock, and Callum Wilson. So, like I said, normally, the names you would expect to be on there. The players that have unfortunately missed out on a squad place is Mark Gillespie, Emil Kraft, Javi Manquillo, and Matt Ritchie. I feel a bit sorry for Matt Ritchie, to be honest, because, as I say, he's been a long-term stalwart of Newcastle United and has played a decent part in pre-season. He's been around the squad. But unfortunately, because of the restrictions in places, we haven't been able to put him in the squad. And I think that'll probably disappoint Eddie Howe that he can't put Matt Ritchie in there. But it is what it is. And we've been restricted by this fact that we haven't got enough homegrown talent to put into the squad so we can name a 25-man team. Now, that is Squad A, which is very interesting because there is a sort of List B for the squad, which includes actually Lewis Miley as well. So he hasn't been completely left out. It's like a standby list, if you like. You're allowed a standby list in the Champions League, and Lewis Miley has been included in that. But look, it's very, very exciting. I know we've had a rough start of the season. That is quite clear, and everybody's saying, we turn up like we did against Brighton, and we're going to get mullered in the Champions League. It doesn't quite work like that. The lads will know that they'll let themselves down and they'll let everybody down at Brighton. It wasn't a good performance. It was very lethargic, very lackadaisical. And we need to improve. And I believe the squad that he's announced for the Champions League is very much good enough to perform. We know what European nights used to be like under the lights at St James's Park. We're going to get that back in the Champions League for the first time in 20 years. It's massive. And the crowd will be able to help this football club. There's no doubt about it. Those players will come onto the pitch. They'll see the flags. They'll hear the Champions League music. It's what we've all wanted to hear for such a very, very long time now. And we get the opportunity to do that. Now, what I'm going to ask you guys is there anybody you feel that from that list I've just given you that's in the squad, do you feel shouldn't be there? Because obviously he's had to name 3 goalkeepers because, Nick Pope hasn't exactly started the season breathtakingly well. Dubravka, of course, is there, ready to step in, and so is Loris Karius. Now, we've had a few people say that Karius should be in front of Dubravka, and the worry is about Nick Pope in the Champions League with his delivery, his kicking, his coming for crosses. It was also mentioned on this live show last night. Is he still worried or hampered by this hand injury that he had surgery on? Of course, missed the Chelsea game last season and hasn't looked the same, really, has he, since he's had the operation? He doesn't come out with very much confidence to catch a ball, and his play with his feet has been simply dreadful so far. So, there is a worry about Nick Pope, and I think Eddie Howe will be aware of that. But hopefully Nick Pope can re-find his form. He's a very good goalkeeper, of course, but has always had a question about his kicking. Yes, he's great at the sweeper stuff when he comes out and just, commands his box very well. Helps out the back four by coming and making challenges and being out there as a sweeper keeper. But other names on the, Lewis Hall is in there. I mean, he had to be, didn't he? Livramento's there as well. People have questioned those 2 signings recently, very recently, saying, look, they're for the future, but should we have bought players for the now for the Champions League? We've brought in Tonali. A lot of people are saying, oh, God, he's very similar to Bruno. that's regardless. I know we're talking about a number 6. We need a number 6 to sort of help that back four. Now, who that number 6 will be, I don't know. People have suggested Kieran Trippier move there and put Livramento right back. Or is Sean Longstaff going to play that position? Personally, and I don't think Sean is good enough to play that position. He's a ball winner, etc. And the stats show that when he's in the side, we are a lot better defensively. So maybe that is an option. Jacob Murphy's there. Just had a baby, of course, so he hasn't been involved in the first team, but what an opportunity for him. Obviously, the big names there. Matt Targett's in there. Now, you'd probably expect Matt Targett to be there because he's a left back and, he needs to be there because of the situation with Lewis Hall just signing, of course, Dan Burn not really playing well. But Targett, for me, is a worry if he starts Champions League games at left back. He just doesn't look good enough to step up to the plate. I'm really hoping that it's going to be Lewis Hall, guys. I have to be 100% honest and say I want Lewis Hall to play these Champions League games because I feel like it's a magnificent experience for him. But listen, the kid is good enough. He's undoubtedly good enough to play there. I'd certainly rather have him at left back rather than Targett and Burn, to be honest. But look, we've got a squad here, and we were talking about it in the summer, building a squad for the Champions League. Do you guys think we have built for the Champions League, or is it more for the future? Because you look at some of the signings, i.e. Livramento and Lewis Hall, very young kids. Are we looking to the future? And should we have looked to the future in this window, or should we have looked at the now, preparing for the Champions League, bringing players in who we know have got maybe Champions League experience, who are ready to go and perform for Newcastle United? It's a big question, really. And when you look at that squad, you think, yeah, all the big names are there, but we haven't exactly played like big name players at the start of this season. I think more than ever, it's the Brighton performance that is worrying the Newcastle fans more than it is the Man City defeat or Liverpool. Look, Man City are Man City. Liverpool, it was one of those freak games where, they get two goals in the last few minutes of the game. But Brighton, I think a lot of people are talking about the lack of intensity, the lack of belief, the lack of motivation that we seem to have all through that game. Where did that disappear to? And I think that's concerning a lot of fans. So these players have got a huge opportunity now to rebuild this season. I know we're only 4 games in, but we do need to sort of rebuild again, just set it to 0 and go again. And these players have a massive opportunity now to step up and do the job and prove to Eddie Howe that they are worth the money that we've spent on them. But Eddie as well has to be challenged. Eddie has to play the right teams in Europe. He can't go into this European campaign, playing his favourite players, if you like he's done in the past. We need to see a difference. We need to see it mixed up a little bit, cause these teams problems. But I genuinely believe at home in the Champions League, we are, a different animal, completely different animal. The atmosphere, under the lights, will get right behind the team, and hopefully these players will be a lot more up for it than they were for Brighton at the Amex on Saturday. So let me know what you think of the Champions League squad. Is there any names there that you really shouldn't be there, or names that should be there? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll have a look at that in due course. One other story that is broken today at Newcastle United is the club have announced that midfielder Isaac Hayden has gone to Standard Liege. Now, this is a 1-year loan deal. There is no option to buy in the deal at all. So Isaac Hayden will again assess what he needs to assess at the end of this current season. It's a weird one for me. I don't think anybody saw Standard Liège coming in, or Isaac Hayden going to Belgium or anything like that. He was due to go to Luton, of course. That didn't happen for whatever reason. And, of course, Sheffield Wednesday were interested to take him as well as Jeff Hendrick. But that never happened for Sheffield Wednesday either. But the club have announced this morning that the deal has gone through. He is now loan player for Standard Liège. And listen, I wish Isaac Hayden the very best on his new journey. He's done fantastically well for Newcastle United. Sadly hindered by injuries at the latter part of his Newcastle career, and then, of course, hardly played for Norwich on loan there last season because of injury. So it's a new start for Isaac Hayden. People did suggest that, we should have kept him in the squad this year. He's tenacious in midfield and things like that. But is Isaac Hayden really a player that is what we're needing to step up to the plate, that higher plate? I don't think he is. Yes, he's done really well for us, scored memorable goals, of course. The one against Chelsea at St James's Park springs to mind, the header. And he's done well. And he's never complained either, which is a fabulous thing about Isaac Hayden. when there was a few years ago, I think there was a little rumbling that he wasn't very happy at the club. He wanted to go back to London and be around his family. It didn't happen. He signed a new contract, but you never heard him once complain or whinge or cry off about anything. He just put his head down and he worked so hard for Newcastle United. So I have a lot of admiration for Isaac Hayden, and I hope he does really well at Liege. It's a new start for him, a new league, a new country, and maybe this is just what he needed for the latter part of his career, just to play some football, enjoy his football again, and have a good time there out in Belgium. So we do wish Isaac Hayden the very, very best. So there you go, guys. That is the news today. The Champions League squad announced. We were expecting that, of course, but a little bit of a hindrance with only being able to announce 23 man instead of 25. But let me know. It's coming up, guys. It's not far away, that first game in Milan, of course. Brentford is up first at St James's Park, and then we get into a real, we're playing nearly twice a week for the considerable future. So it's very, very exciting for us as fans. Then the big teams, of course, PSG, etc., come to St James's Park. So it's all very exciting. Is that squad good enough to compete, or are you worried that maybe the edge has just been taken off a little bit with the Brighton performance? Because, like I say, you can excuse the Liverpool one as a one-off, and Man City, but the lack of belief and intent at Brighton, does that worry you at all going into this Champions League with that squad? But let me know. So thank you very much for watching, guys. As I said at the start, if you have enjoyed the show, please don't forget to give it the thumbs up. Keep us up there in the algorithm on YouTube. And of course, if you're new, please do hit the subscribe button. Come and be part of this wonderful community on the Toon Review. And hit that notification bell as well, which will let you know when we go live or we upload any future videos. But in the meantime, do join us tonight. If you're watching this on the Tuesday, 7 p.m, we have a very special guest tonight. It is a Toon Review special with Matty from the Magpie channel. Very much looking forward to chatting to Matty about the transfer window, the start of the season, where he sees us moving forward this season. And we'll take some questions from you guys in the chat as well if you've got anything to ask Matty. So join us tonight, 7 p.m, as I say, if you're watching this on the Tuesday. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day, folks. We'll see you soon. Take care.